Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Wed Wibbon Week. Ahoy!
Ahoy!
How's it going?
I'm very exhausted.
Oh,
How are
no.
you?
I'm sorry about the delay. I was fielding questions about how to start an LLC and why you would do one versus a sole proprietorship.
Cool.
Also,
I'm assuming insurance purposes.
well, so limited. So let's break it down. LLC is what? Limited
Liability company, right?
liability company. So it's not just insurances, but it's protection against your personal assets. So when you operate as a sole proprietor, your stuff,
Yeah, that's
is
right.
business stuff, and you get sued. If the quote unquote business gets sued, they can take you out. If you
Yeah.
have an LLC,
It's separate from
Yeah.
you.
you have the business stuff sitting over here in a little pile, and your stuff sitting over in another pile. So unless you operate like as yourself as opposed to as your business during business hours, like they can sue, still find ways to sue you around your business, but it blocks an awful lot
Yeah.
from you. So that's the biggest thing. It doesn't do anything with taxes unless you get filing differentially doesn't really matter until you get to like an S corp or C corp, which is by that time you're making like oogles of money. So no, you don't really need to worry about that one.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, no, that was what I was helping with.
So riveting. I'm so
I know.
glad that you.
You know what? And then there was even talk of like how to handle sales tax, and I was like, oh, come on, let's do this.
No. Why would you? No,
I hate them.
that's
No.
not.
Well, and I was like, look, this is like the little bit that I know about sales tax, and
Double
I will tell you
know.
very honestly, I run a service-based company for a very big reason, like for many reasons, and one of them is I don't have to pay sales tax. I don't have to pay anything on that. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's true because you're not selling anything.
No,
really.
no, services and knowledge you don't have to pay sales tax on. So
Nice.
there you go. So if you're like a
Go.
coach, so if you're a coach, if you do coaching service, that's a coaching service. You sell the coaching package. You don't have to pay sales tax on that. But if you sell like how-to manual, that's sales tax because that's an item.
Oh no.
But so
You got to sneak the manual in with the package. You got to make it part of the deal so that it comes with the service.
Free manual. With the service.
With the package. There we go. I like it. Free.
So keep this in mind whenever we put together our Oh Brother consortium group.
That's right.
For working with media properties and social advertising outlets.
Right. Whenever we give him ad info, like whenever we
put our consulting services together, just remember, you don't have to file that pesky SW34 whatever it is.
I just take everything to the tax dude and go, here.
That's kind of what I said.
Have this.
Towards the end, I was like, look, I understand like there's a lot going on here and you're very concerned about this. There is a point at time where you can either continue to stress about this and pull your hair out and not sleep, or you can light a relatively small pile of money on fire and not worry about this. And I'm going to leave that up to you, right?
Yeah, you just take all the paperwork to the CPA office and you go, here you go, man.
Yeah, no, like
have at it.
Exactly.
And a person whose job it is to do taxes does it for you.
We'll get this, do taxes. Exactly.
I know.
They were like,
and some of them even like it.
I know, they're weird.
Wild.
Exactly. This person, they were like, oh, because they sold like food items as part of their stuff, and they were like, well, like, but there's like food use, and then there's like food sales tax, and those are different. I don't know, blah blah. And I was like, first off, yeah, you sold food. I would just use this food sales tax. Like what?
Just get an accountant.
Just food. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we were doing. So anyway, this is Tax Talk Corner. brought to you by people who know nothing about taxes.
Yeah, right.
I have filed our own taxes every year that we've been married, and I still don't know how to do it, and I still feel like I'm just clicking buttons and doing something quasi illegal when I'm doing.
It's fine.
But like everything checks out, and it's like, okay, it's 10 years. So that first
and
one,
legitimately, like if you click like one wrong box and you don't pay like $30, the IRS literally doesn't care. They'll be like, whatever.
I know.
Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I told this person. They were like freaking out about, they're like, I don't know, but I sold like $100 worth of stuff. And I was like, exactly. And you're paying what? What's the sales tax on that?
$100.
6%? Ooh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not $6.
$6 here. They don't
They're gonna
care.
get you.
Right?
No,
yeah, exactly. I said, if they turn around and slap you with an audit, just laugh and say, have fun. Good, enjoy. Right? Like, what are they?
Say, okay.
Yeah.
Audit me.
You've been in operation for a month. Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
They don't care.
It'll be fine.
So anyway, I just, it's
ridiculous.
There are parts where it's like, you want to make sure you're doing everything legal and by the books, and you're not. But then it's like at some point you just gotta kind of do it. I don't know. It's a weird way to operating of just like, I know, taxes, whatever. Just do it and they'll figure it out.
I mean, it's not super, like when you say it that way, it sounds pretty not great, right? Like,
exactly. Exactly. But then if you're like, oh, this is over $100 and the sales tax on that, which is $6, okay, never mind. I'm not going to care about this anymore. Because what's the penalty on that? Ooh, another 30% on the $6 I owed you. Ooh, good luck. Here's your $9, man. Good job. Right? It's like, whatever. Like,
How terrible.
So, anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. They'll just be like, well, okay, I guess we'll stop. Yeah. Again, that is why I just go to the CPA guy and go, here you go. Have fun with this.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. Not, but I know you enjoy it. Aaron.
Yes.
Aaron, wherefore art thou? Aaron, we found you.
At long last, wild Aaron has appeared on the horizon.
Aaron.
Sorry.
How are you?
What's
new?
I've been here trying to recover. Just as usual. Let's see here. What stuff did I get into? What happened over the weekend? Went to the fair Saturday, I think. Did fair things there in Tulsa. So that was kind of fun. Haven't been to the fair in like ever. So that was a completely new experience for someone who hasn't been to the fair in a legit long time. It's homecoming week, and so we had to get ready for that for school. But it's also fall break, and so there was only like 3 days of school this week, and so that was kind of nice to do everything and then be like, all right, here's a 4-day weekend, and oh, by the way, I have a football game on a day that's no school, and oh, here's a parade. And there's a powder puff bonfire like the night before, so good luck. Just a cacophony of things mixed together. And just kind of, just doing my own thing, really. It's also fall break for Shelby, and so we also
hooray.
So that'll be kind of nice for once to actually have a legit weekend together. So yeah, that's all we got going on.
Nice.
Really nothing super exciting, but
you mentioned like, I don't know, it jogged my mind of something we're coming up with that I haven't had to experience in a very long time. Are things like Spirit Week at schools, and
yes,
I like we're in like what week of school now? I don't know, 4. And
I don't know. We're in like 7 or 8. I think we're in 8 weeks.
We started late.
No, we just finished our first 9 weeks.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, our end of quarter is this week.
Well, we just did our
Friday.
We just did our
missing assignment kids,
student teacher or parent teacher conferences or we just did those.
Mhm.
I don't know whenever those are. I don't. Anyway, I have
Mine are Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, it's on my calendar of
Yay.
when school ends and when it starts and everything in between. It's kind of a blur. But the first week of school was a spirit week, and now
First week?
yeah. Well, it was like the first week started on a Wednesday, so that really wasn't. But it was like the next full week was a spirit week, and now we're doing a spirit week next week, and I'm exhausted of these already. And I told Megan, I was like, I didn't enjoy these when I was in school, and I'm really not enjoying these now that I have a kid in school. But I'm trying not to like rain on her parade because she really enjoys them. But I'm like, this is too much. There's a lot of spirit, and I I kind of just need to like pump the brakes a little bit on this.
Yeah, we haven't had any yet. I don't think we had like they had like the pink out volleyball thing was this week, but they didn't do a particularly good job of like doing that this year. Like there was like no signs or anything like that. So I feel like the high school kids kind of dropped the ball on that one. But it's real bad in like the high school because they'll do like every club will do like a spirit week eventually, you know? And then then it's real confusing when like, all right, so the elementary kids are doing this and then the high school kids are doing that, and it's just a whole shenanigans and ridiculous, and I don't like them either. Very rarely do I participate as a teacher because like I don't own camouflage things. Come on, get out of here. I'm not doing that. Stop it. Right? And then also like I'm not buying a thing to wear for one day. No.
I know.
Right? I got other things I need to buy. Like I got to revamp my like pant wardrobe over here. All right? I'm busy. Don't So yeah, it's annoying and I don't like them, and you know, I mean they're fine. You know, and I think a lot of times our school just does not execute them well. I think that's the problem. I don't have a problem with the concept or the theory. I have a problem with the execution. You know, and there's never really given a good reason why anybody should do it. And like my school is not very spirity. You know, they don't have lots of spirit or pep, and it's like they're very flat. And it ends up just being like, oh, it's hat day again.
Again.
Like, no, literally, who cares? They don't know why they're wearing a hat. They're just like, okay. Half of them forget. They're just like, oh, I have a hat anyway, so I guess I'll just wear it.
Yeah. Like, oh, sweet. I don't have to take it off. Awesome. Yeah. I mean,
So when you lose the meaning, it's really just sort of like a bunch of boring days where people wear dumb clothes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we already did pajama day, and there was like a polka dot day, and then there was like a print, like a fairy tale day. But then this coming week is like what was it? Oh, the one day is a like a dress really nice day, just like a fancy dress day, and then what?
But why?
I know exactly. And my favorite one.
That's why.
Is at the end of the week. It's like it says it's like school, not school spirit day or whatever like that. But basically, it's like, oh, you want me to buy a T-shirt so I can rep the school that day. So we're all wearing T-shirts from the school.
Oh, it's not even like school colors day. Oh man, that's
what they're implying is, but also they're like, oh, we don't forget we also have T-shirts. I'm like, I see.
Yeah.
No,
$20. Ha ha ha.
Not. I mean, they. Yeah. Anyway, it's. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I told Megan, I was like, it'd be nice if we find a school that just like did do this stuff.
They all do them.
I know,
but they just do them to varying degrees of success, right? Like, so like an example coming up sometime soon. I feel like it's October. It should be Red Ribbon Week.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's usually an October thing. Now I have to say that very slowly because I always say it like Elmer Fudd style, like all still to this day. I will say of it, and invariably I will say Wed Wibbon week.
Wed Wibbon.
Right, I just will. But
I will say Wed Wibbon.
every time, every year I say that. So that's one generally much more thought out. The days have like things, and they talk about stuff. The counselor does stuff with all the kids, that kind of thing. So the days are like, I don't remember off the top of my head, but they have like little sayings and things that go with the theme for each day of the week. Right. So that makes sense to me. This is it's a pretty well thought out thing. It goes with stuff. It ties into things you can talk to the kids about. They, talk about drug awareness and everything like that. But like FBLA week, it's just a bunch of random days thrown together that the FBLA kids wanted to dress like. And so there's no like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, it's National FBLA week. We're going to wear Hawaiian shirts. You're like, what? What? Why? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense.
So, with that said, Oh Brother Podcast is doing a Spirit Week, hypothetically.
What?
What?
Oh, yes, because they can totally see what we're wearing.
Okay, so we'll take this to a couple different levels. What would you have done during a No Brother Podcast Spirit Week?
An Oh Brother Podcast Spirit Week. All right. Well, the Oh Brother, this is tricky, right? We need to distill this down. What are the themes that make up Oh Brother?
Okay, so for me,
right?
Monday is one day.
Oh, go ahead.
One day has to be watch half of a movie.
So I feel like one day needs to be mismatched clothing day, because sometimes we're so incredibly random and our thoughts don't always fit together. Right. So one day is like clothes that don't match.
I like this.
That's the one. There's one of them. Okay. That's
Oh, I don't know. Aaron, do you have any ideas?
Forget that you're podcasting day.
Oh, sure. Yeah, forget.
It was definitely.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome. The mic is on.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all good.
I'm sure one of them is like read an obscure book day.
It's true. Oh, there has to be eat your third favorite ice cream day.
Third favorite ice cream. Yes, that one bubbles up. We need one more. Need one more. Yeah.
Oh man.
I know that's so. Here's what we got: watch half a movie day, mismatch clothing day, forget your podcasting day, third favorite ice cream day.
What is another one?
I mean, we can it's like talk about Mesopotamia Day, find your favorite rock day.
Talk about Mesopotamia Day. Yes, favorite rock day. No, I feel okay for real. I feel like the other underlying message of the show is it's generally very positive vibes we try to put out here, right? Okay. So we got to have positivity day.
Oh,
right. No more negativity in our life.
Good news.
Positivity. So say nice things to people day. Listeners, hope you're having a great day. We love you.
It's gonna be say nice things to people day / good news day. Is what I'm gonna.
Good news day. That's right.
News day. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad. We'll patent that and roll that out next year. So
there you go.
Yeah, we've been busy. I'm going to Springfield this Friday to interview people for a job position that I technically have no work for, but I have to have the person before I get the work. So,
I mean, that is part of the problem in your particular
Fine.
scenario.
yeah.
So how many out of the literal hundreds of people are you going to be interviewing?
Well, here before, So this has been a very long process. I have many spreadsheets talking about things that are going on. I paused this. This job paused with. I had 137 applicants apply.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, 137 people to be a dog walker in town, and I am interviewing 5 people on Friday. We did phone interviews with 12 or 8 or something like that, where it was just like a real quick, like 15-minute, like boom, 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 boom. And then I'm going to do a longer 30-ish minute one in person in town. And it's 5. So we took our top 5, and I told Megan, we'll take those 5. We will re-rank them. We have a ranking right now. We'll re-rank them after that. And then we'll offer the job for the top 3 and see who bites. And trying to do it quickly.
Yeah. What if they all bites?
Well, I did tell Megan, I mean, I'm not going to offer it to all 3 at the same time. I was basically
we
get our top 1 and we offer it to them. And if they take it, great. We'll decline everybody.
Oh, okay.
But
I
we'll
see
just
now.
kind of stair step it down.
Okay, that makes sense. The way you worded it was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that?
no. Yeah, and they have to fight. That's the 5th round. Is the
battle royale.
I lure them to the Girl Scout camp across the Lake Springfield, and I tell them to camp out overnight.
I put them in the pool, and then
and the one who walks out in the morning gets it. Yeah, so
there you go.
That's very detailed hiring process. So anyway, it's been good. We're happy with the people that we have. We're also trying to figure out, like, maybe we should hire 2 people. So then we're like, okay, which 2 people would we want hired together, based on scheduling or based on experiences? Because we have one lady who like ran a dog walking company like 10 years ago and then stopped, and then because she retired, and then she moved around the country and then she moved back to Springfield to be with her dad. Now she just wants to do something in retirement. So we're like, well, you'd be really good, but you don't really have like the social media skills and that aspect, the marketing aspect that we're interested in. So do we have someone who has those strengths? Then we can have them like train each other and whatever. So I'm trying to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. Now, this is just a logistics question that I'm interested in. You don't have to like out it so nobody like shows up, but when you're coming from out of town to give an interview, where does one hold interviews for dog walkers?
A coffee shop.
And is the answer Sequoia Park?
No, it's not. No.
Dang it.
We thought about going. So we know many people who will go to a dog park and just sit on a bench and talk to the person as a way to
like, hey kid, want a job? Like this.
Right. No, they're like, okay, we'll do the in-person interview at a dog park. But we don't want to do that because we don't really feel like, personally,
it's cheesy.
Dog parks, it's a little on the nose, but also dog parks are really unsafe in almost every aspect you can imagine. And so that's not some place we would want our employees going with a dog. And so we didn't want to set that tone with them of like, yeah, it's fine. Like, we went on an interview there, but never go there on your own or whatever. So because we're trying to get a lot more, I need someone who's really personal, someone who really connects with others. Because this is my first hire in a city who's going to be partly responsible for helping us drum up business and make connections there that we just can't remotely. Right. So I kind of making it so that we are talking in a more intimate setting at a coffee shop means that A, I get to drink coffee all day, but B, I can see how they do in a more one-on-one setting.
And the secret interview question is, what coffee did they order?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's just the wrong one, you're like, no, I'm sorry, I can't hire you. You do. What are you doing drinking that? You get out of here.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, so I've picked a coffee shop that I'll just kind of camp out in all day and make it work. But yeah, we're still trying to go through our questions because right now I have like 14 questions and that's too many to cover, especially with follow-ups and things. So we're a lot of them are more dog knowledge because I do kind of want to put them on the spot because that was one thing that I've learned was like you want them to be comfortable so you get honest answers, but I do need to kind of grill them a little bit just to
you need to see their thinking process.
I need to see their thinking process and see because you're going to get weird questions all the time, and it's okay to try and answer then say I don't know but I'll get back to you, and that's something that I can learn. Like that's a perfectly acceptable answer to me for many of these things. Like how do you handle a dog with a broken toenail? There's a lot of ways to answer that. And one of them may be, I've never experienced that, but here's how I handle a cut on me and how I would do that. So anyway,
I'm going to furiously Google things.
Exactly.
I'm going to look at WebMD for pets. And I'm going to...
Well, and one of the questions that we asked during the phone interviews, like we wrote out all of our expected answers. And then I didn't even realize what the actual answer I wanted was until like the second to last person.
Gave it to you?
Yeah. Because what I asked was, I said, I set them up and I said, we run schedules with time windows for meeting at people's houses to do the walks. So we have 2 hours. So if they wanted to walk at 10, it means we could show up as early as 9 or as late as 11. And that gives us a lot of flexibility, but sometimes that's not enough and we run late. So if you were running late to a client's appointment, what would you do? Right? Okay. Here's what everybody said. I would text the client and let them know that I was running late. I wouldn't give excuses. I would just explain that I would notify them as soon as I got there and that I would still stay the time that I had scheduled, the allotted 30 minutes.
Oh.
Then one person said was, well, I would call the boss and let them know that I was running late, and then I would notify the client. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm the boss. Yeah, you gotta let me know I'm running late.
Oh no. That's the revelation. I would call the boss and like I can see the revelation on your face like, oh, that's me. I'm the boss now.
Oh,
that's
right. You're right. Right. So I was like, then afterwards I was like,
better call me.
They're gonna call us. That's exactly what I wanted. Of course that's so I was like, oh no. Right.
Oh my gosh. So, Aaron, we need to give Collin some interview questions. What do you think are some absurd questions he should ask his prospective employees to get them thinking on their feet? Any ideas? These really real zingers just to throw out at them.
Well, I always not like the questions where it's like that's designed to make people question that this is the job that they want. Like the questions is like, so if you came across and there's like a stab victim and you're just like, wait a second, what am I getting myself into? That's the kind of questions Collin needs to ask, because that then provides like, this person's got moxie. I like that. You're hired.
You know what? That's actually really good, because I will let you a little insight here. One of the questions that I see very frequently on Pet Sitter Facebook group, and this is not a joke. Just as I was getting ready to transition here, I checked a Facebook group because there was a question that came up, and it was this: "Hey guys, what do I do? I got over to my client's house and they were there and naked in the living room." And happens all the time.
You awkwardly stand in the doorway and be like, "So, do you still want your dog walked, or
Look,
like?"
I need to ask them.
What?
You come in, you arrive in the morning, and your client hasn't left yet, and they're naked in the kitchen. What do? Oh man.
Other questions, I think. What is the appropriate EDC for a dog walker? Lamb.
Yeah. No, that's good. Because, we do request them to say, we do ask, like, are you capable of walking in all weather? And everyone just, yeah. But more appropriately, like, how would you dress or how would you equip yourself? And a lot of that stuff, like, we
own a raincoat.
Right, exactly. Like, we will be supplying some of the equipment, but it would be good to know, like, okay, how are you thinking? What does prepared mean to you to go out on the walk?
Yeah. You see? There you go. See, look at this question. Good stuff. Good job, Aaron.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely face those like random moments of like, oh, this is not how I plan my day on going. So this is what you need to ask yourself, or those people who are interested in this job, is like, hey, look, this might not be the job that you're actually expecting. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, here's a dog, you're walking it, boom, you're done. Like, you're going to face daily life stuff while walking a dog. So what are you willing or going to be prepared for? And then boom, go for there.
Yeah.
I think that's wise.
Yeah.
It's clever.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's a lot. There was a guy who he was an older gentleman in retirement looking for something to do part-time. And I was like, great, awesome. This is very part-time. Matter of fact, it's so part-time, it's zero right now.
Yeah.
But we're trying to grow.
It's only the part.
So exactly. It's just part. There's literally no time. It's just part. And he was very interested in just the dog walking. And he called me all the time. He was like, I know that the job ad said that I'd have to do X, Y, Z, but I'm not really interested in that. I just want to do the dog walks. Is that something that I could do? And I had to explain to him like 4 or 5 times, like, no, like that's not this position. This position is not just dog walker. It's like dog walker, admin, social media guru, all wrapped into one. And we need that. We can't just have, right? Like I've got that's what I need. And it was kind of hard to explain that to him. And I felt kind of bad, but it is more, A, this position is more than just dog walking, but B, dog walking is more than just dog walking, just period.
Yeah, that's true too. That's
right.
You have that vision in your head of just like strolling with the dog down the street, but it is more than that, Yeah.
Or like, especially going into the winter time, also like with the weird, it's dark all the time now. It's gonna be dark at 5:00, and your last check-in of the day is at 7. Are you okay walking down the street with like very few street lights with the dog for 30 minutes? Like, are you comfortable with that? Like, how will you?
Do you have a flashlight?
Do you have a flashlight? Do you have reflective gear? Do you carry mace?
Do you have a headlamp?
Yeah, exactly. The single greatest invention, by the way, like just being a dad, like a headlamp is total game changer for everything that I do. I don't know how Dad held a mag light in his mouth for 15 years dealing with us. I'm like, I did that once, and I'm like, no, I need a headlamp.
It's disgusting. Get it out of here.
This is I can't do this. So, yeah, I mean, it's
great.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that goes with the preparedness thing.
Yeah,
flashlight, high visibility jacket, funky bunch pet care T-shirt.
They're gonna get some of that stuff.
Ask them. How would you explain your job to a policeman that pulls you over?
Exactly. You walk into a house and the client forgot to turn off their alarm and didn't give you the code. What do you do when the cops show up 10 minutes later?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Scare them off. Like, oh no.
I mean, but it happens. Like that stuff happens all the time. Yeah.
It's true.
I
just sit on the front porch with my business card in hand, saying, "Look, here you go. Here's why I'm here. Here's my shirt. Blam. I walked a dog."
Yeah. Or be on the phone with the client. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things you could do there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Don't run. That's number one. Just don't flee the scene.
Don't. Stay. Stay, please stay. Oh, goodness. So Friday will be fun. I'll be highly caffeinated and highly exhausted all day.
Yeah.
Good.
So, tangential follow-up question.
Okay.
As is the norm here.
Yes.
For you and Aaron. So, we've discussed coffee shop drinks before. But, importantly, when you're in the coffee shop with your drink, what pastry are you looking for to accompany your coffee drink?
Yeah. I guess so
it's a hard question.
It is hard.
The real hard interview questions here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, only the hardest hitting recording. I'm pretty basic, with a lot of stuff. But really what comes to my mind is depending on the drink, I'm probably just looking for something like a croissant or a chocolate croissant where they've got the bar of chocolate in the middle and they wrap the croissant around it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I actually had that this morning. I just had black coffee and a croissant. It was just really good. I don't know, like it was really, really nice. But anyone else?
Yeah, Aaron, thoughts?
I'm not really like a pastry person. Like, granted, the only true coffee place I go to is either like Starbucks or McDonald's coffee, or this place called Evergreen Coffee, which is kind of like a local-y place.
Oh, nice.
That's like, my drink is not really coffee. It's the nice, iced vanilla coffee, basically. And so I don't really get much of a saying of what kind of coffee I drink. But like pastries, like I just don't get there in the morning and like, oh man, I need a pastry. That's not like where my mind goes, weirdly. And so I just
do you eat anything at coffee shops? Do you go for like the sandwichy thing? Do you go for just like the bagel, like cookie, like?
Well,
cheesecake.
Because
some people just like cookies, right? Like because they have cookies too. So they're like, oh yeah, no, I just want that cookie, man.
I'm trying to think. No, for me, it's usually like the little sausage biscuit thing, typically.
Okay.
Or like little things like that. Like that's usually what my vibe is to go something like that.
That's allowed. That is allowed. We'll allow that.
And then like I said, my coffee Evishare is not like ever the best. I'm not known for my coffee expertise. I pretty much get the same thing for the past like 7 years, basically.
Well, I mean, as a person who drinks predominantly black coffee, I cannot like hate on you for that, right? Like it's not like I'm right there with you, man. I drink black coffee or like those like Americanos, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you're in literally any other country in the world, the long black, right? That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Just espresso and hot water. Boom. Nailed it. So like sometimes I do like the pastry because it is like the bitterness of the coffee. I do sometimes, not every time, but I do like a pastry, and I am a bear claw guy.
Ooh. Oh no.
Just like a bear claw.
I was gonna add that if the croissant is not available or it doesn't look to be tasty, I'll go for a scone.
Oh, classic scone.
I do like scone. We have a recipe that we make and the kids love, and it's pretty easy, and those are good morning.
So I will.
Those
say,
are nice, easy. Just grab them.
I will say we had so in world geography. today I was talking with my students about kosher food with a lot of like the Jewish food. And for bonus points, kids could bring in like, if they baked it or whatever, they could bring kosher food in. And I had like like 3 or 4 of them who actually like made stuff. And one of them was kind of like this breakfasty cookie thing that you like dip in your coffee. Oh, it was so good. I don't know what it's called.
Nice.
I need to get the recipe because I saved it. They had bonus points, so they actually brought the recipe. But I pretty much had a snack day basically. I had like a kid bring in like this cinnamon apple cake thing. Oh, it was so good. And the last thing this girl brought was this little like breakfast cookie thing that's like, oh yeah, it's like all chocolate chip and you're supposed to dip it in your coffee. And it's got like chocolate stuff, and I'm like, I don't have coffee, but I love this. So, yeah, that's what I had for my kind of like afternoon snack, and I absolutely treasured it. So I need to get more of that. So if that's kind of like considered more breakfast things, then I would definitely add that to my list.
Yeah, all right, there we go.
Yeah,
nice.
Which brings up a sense memory of Mom always getting the biscotti and having those around.
Don't like biscotti. It's too. It's like a brick, man. Like, here you go.
Well, no. See, here's the thing.
I do remember those in those little bags and that tin thing, right?
It's a brick.
I don't like them
for like 99.99999% of its life, but then you leave it in for a thousandth of a millisecond too long in the coffee, and it just completely disintegrates and falls to the bottom and turns into
That's true.
Of
mush
crumble, and you're like, well, that's disgusting.
Man, speaking of, I just had a sudden memory rush of coffee cake that she used to make or have or buy or something. I don't really know where it came from. There was coffee cake frequently. Yeah. And I really liked that. And I haven't really had it since then. I don't know. I don't really know if I still like coffee cake. Unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed. I wonder where that recipe got to, or where that was.
I don't know. Or where the heck she bought it. I don't really even know where it came from. I know it was there. And I don't know. I can't remember if she made it or bought it. I remember she used to make blueberry muffins a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of memories so like things that you don't really realize, like I was unaware that blueberry muffins came without streusel topping for a very long time in my life. I had one when I was like older. I was like, what? Where's this stuff? Why would you not have stuff on this? This is awful. What's going on in my life?
Why are you committing this hate crime against me and humanity?
Why would you not want crumbly topping on your blueberry muffin? I was aghast.
I know.
Like, who does this?
Best part of the muffin.
Literally the best part of the muffin. And a large number of people are like, no, I don't want that.
I don't want extra joy in my life. You're like, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah. So second best breakfast pastry, streusel blueberry muffin. I'd have the crumbly stuff on it though.
Yeah.
That's the money right there.
That's true. Oh, yeah. It's always depressing when they're like blueberry muffin, awesome. And it's like, oh, this is
because from childhood, from when she used to make all those all the time, like my vision of what a blueberry muffin is has the crumbles on it. Right? Like in my mind, the essence of a blueberry muffin contains the topping stuff. And when it's not there, I'm just like, man,
like what is this?
Sad times. It's just like this connection that I have made in my brain where that is a blueberry muffin. You know, that's what it is. I don't know.
Well,
sad times.
Well, speaking of sad times, I think we should probably transition into our book.
Oh man, sad times abound.
Chapters. So we had an assignment to read chapters 2 and 3 of The Outsiders. Those of you who are interested in going back and listening to our critique of the first chapter can go back and listen to Oh Brother podcast on Time Elongated Itself.
Did.
Quick side note before we dive in. We were listening to the most recent episode in the car because that's what we do when we take the kids to school today. And like Noah freaked out because Lily and I were talking over the intro and he wanted to hear the title of the episode. He was like, "Stop talking." He actually said, "I need to hear the funny thing." And so
that's right, Noah. You tell him, buddy.
So he had to be quiet so he could hear Janky Glug Jig.
That's right. It's still together, by the way.
Good. It's
holding strong. We pulled it inside because it was super windy last night. We didn't want to chance it, but it's been holding together well.
Yeah, it's been weather. So, Aaron, I know you didn't get a chance to read much of these chapters, but you didn't miss a lot until the end of chapter 3.
Yeah. So we will give you the basic info and you'll be ready to go for the next time. It's not like we're still in the exposition mode, right? But I will say just a general vibe check. I enjoyed chapters 2 and 3 far more than I did chapter 1.
Gotcha.
Right. For some reason, chapter 1, I just didn't like it. It was just so like ham-fisted and but chapter 2 and 3, they made a lot of sense. We have like continuations of things in it. I like it a lot more. So
good. Okay.
So we're starting. Anyway, I liked chapter 2 and 3 better. Well, 2 especially. 3 was a little like, what? Why? But again, it's fine.
So I don't know if you want to kick us off with a brief synopsis of where we are so far.
Just like a chapter 2 stuff?
Yeah.
So they're going to the drive-in. Dun, 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 but they're not driving.
No, they're walking.
Or paying. Because ain't nobody got time for that when you can do crimes and be cool. So like that's kind of the character development here. They're going with Dally, right? Mm-hmm. Super gangsta Dally. And they all have the money to get in, but they're just like, nah, we're sneaking in. It's way cooler to do that. So they sneak in, and apparently this is something that I was unaware of because drive-in culture is not a thing anymore. There apparently is a section for walk-ins people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like the drive-in in this movie theater anyway, there's a section for driving, and then there's a section to sit if you've walked there. So if you have come sans car, there's a place for you to sit and watch the movie. So I guess I don't know if they're like on the ground. I don't know if they're like a bench. I don't really understand what was happening.
Yeah, but I felt like there was some sort of seating arrangement, like because it sounded like they were, they plopped down over the seat or they were sitting in.
Yeah, and the girls were in the front row or something like that. So like,
yeah,
I'm guessing they're like benches, like a bleacher situation, perhaps. So like janky football bleachers, right, in this field. So they go, and there's some girls there, and they sit down, and Dally starts being a jerk face to them, as he's wont to do. And then he leaves, and sort of Pony and Johnny kind of hit it off with these girls who are named Cherry and Marcia. Is that right?
Yeah.
Marcia. Right. Her name is Sherry, but she goes by Cherry. Yeah, that's what's happening. So they meet girls at a drive-in movie. Gotcha. And then shenanigans ensue, basically. Right? Cherry hates Dally. And he's like, yo, I'm going to get you some sodas. And she's like, you can get it all you want. I'm not drinking your nasty soda. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, whatever, blah. And he brings him back and he gives the girl sodas, and Marcia just like downs that sucker. She's like, free soda, sweet, bro, and chugs it down. And Cherry throws it at him. Like, she's like, I said I didn't want your nasty soda. Blam.
Uh-huh. Pretty good.
Which is kind of funny. So set her up as a strong-willed individual, to be sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
We also learn that Pony Boy is his just actual name.
His real name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured it was like a nickname. Like everybody else, was a nickname. Nope. Real name.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise. Okay. That's weird, because he goes in this whole thing like, she asks him his name, and he's like, oh, I didn't want to tell her because I'm embarrassed. I'm like, yeah, I can see why, because it's your actual name.
Yeah. Yeah, and then at some point, while Dally's off, who's the third character that comes in and joins them?
2-Bit shows up.
2-Bit shows up and is basically like, oh, Dally slash some tires, he may get in trouble. And they have this weird like philosophical discussion about what it means to hang together, and like, well, he's gonna, if he gets roughed up, that's on him, but because he got caught, he wasn't supposed to do that, but if we need that other group tomorrow, they'd show up, because that's what we do, we stick together. And Cherry and Marcia are kind of confused by this, because it's like, that's a weird code of ethic to stick to.
Yeah. So then we start diving into this weird like the parallel universes of the Greasers and the Soches. Right. That kind of outlines the rest of the chapter.
Yeah.
They talk about a lot of stuff. They talk about like they go get popcorn. Is that what happens? They go get popcorn, and Pony and Cherry are talking, right?
She asks him
about like
what happened to Johnny, right?
Oh yeah. So we get the backstory on what happened to Johnny. He was jumped by 4 dudes in a blue Mustang. Dun, 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 dun. ... for later. And they beat the heck out of him and left him in an alleyway.
Whoa.
So now he's like super jumpy and carries a giant knife with him everywhere he goes, because he is not about to get jumped again.
Well, another bit of foreshadowing here. The quote was, nobody was ever going to beat him like that again, not over his dead body.
Yeah.
So
it's confirmed Johnny's dying, like officially. But they talk about like, they start talking about, I can't find it here, something about they do that, and they're all like, oh yeah, she's like, oh, not all socials are like that, man, we're not like, and she starts talking about the hard life of the soch, right? About how like they have everything. Yeah, they have everything, and they don't strive for things. They just sort of exist in this world, and they try to like, they just like seek things, but they don't ever really know what they're seeking.
Yeah.
Right?
What'd she say?
And so she kind of sums it up and says like, Soches don't feel at all, and Greasers feel too violently, or something like that.
Yeah. And then Pony responds with, that's why we're separated. It's not money, it's feelings. You don't feel anything, and we feel too violent. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's what Pony says that.
Pony says that. You're just like,
and you're like,
okay.
All right. I mean, I kind of get what they're going with, though. Like the Soches, they have all this stuff, so they're just like looking for thrills.
Yeah.
Because they're not like struggling. So like they have all their, so like on the Maslow hierarchy of needs, they have all their base needs met, right? And so they're like looking for excitement in these like other things, like they're some weird words that I didn't really understand, like they're going dancing and they're doing this stuff and they're doing all that crazy stuff. So like,
yeah, she's like, she would excitedly talk about being to a dance, even though she didn't care for it, because that's, she was looking for that thrill. And I think this was an interesting contrast to how chapter 2 started with, why did Dally not pay to get in? because he
Yeah, because it was just
it was a thrill.
because he
It
could.
was a thrill.
Yeah.
He had the money. They all had the money, but he did it anyway. And reading through this, it was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of these parallels of like how people are acting, and like it's just they're acting out in different ways, but but it's from the same concept of people doing stuff just because they're looking for a little bit of a thrill in their life and trying to add meaning to it because they don't have it around them because of whatever situation they're in. They're all looking for meaning in their quote unquote boring or mundane or predictable lives.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it ends. They go back, they take popcorn back, and they like sit there, and then they kind of like they're like, all right, well, it's time to go, I guess, right? And so chapter 3 is like them leaving, right? They leave the movie
and walking, and and they leave in there. The girls, we find out the girls' boyfriends were probably drunk, and the girls didn't want to be around them, so they just
that's why they're sitting by themselves. Yeah, because they're like, I told him I'm not going to hang out with him when he's drinking, so we left him. So that's cool.
And so so they're like, well, we need to get home, so they just walk. They're going to walk to 2-Bit's house to get the car to then drive them.
And drive them
because they're kind of a long. And this is where.
This is where they talk about the rat race thing. I was got the wrong spot.
They
talked about the other deep sociological divide is socialists think the Beatles are awesome and Elvis sucks.
Right.
And greasers think Elvis is awesome and the Beatles suck. Okay. This is the other big point of contention that they reference right at the beginning of the chapter, like on the first page of the chapter.
That's perfect.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is also where basically like everyone is kind of involved in each other's conversations, and Ponyboy and Cherry are having this, and I don't know where this falls, but he starts talking about how she likes to look at the sunset, and he said, I shook my head. It seemed funny to me that the sunset she saw from her patio and the one I saw from the back steps was the same one. Maybe the two different worlds we lived in weren't so different. We at least saw the same sunset. And I will say that I'm not sure exactly when I became cognizant enough to realize that concept of, this star that I'm looking at, there are billions of other people looking at this star simultaneously, or, that you were able to look outside of yourself and realize that other people were experiencing the same world that you were, just in a slightly different manner. Like, I feel like that's a pretty big concept to have and to realize. Like, it's kind of ground shaking whenever you really think about that there's a bigger world out there and people are experiencing it too.
That's true, but that concept was also introduced to us at a young age in American Tail, because that's what Fievel is doing when he's looking for his sister. They have that whole song and they're both looking at the moon, right? Yes, I know. Yeah. So similar themes, right?
No.
Yeah, there you go, Aaron, get it.
You're welcome.
Anyway.
I don't think American Tail.
Yeah, that's in this part somewhere. They start talking about that. They also have a very long conversation about Soda's old horse that wasn't really his horse, but he loved the horse because Soda loves rodeos and horses. And you're like,
what? Weird concept that I was like, I was not expecting to be reading about rodeos in this book. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes, but then you remember the author is from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So of course they go to rodeos. Of course that's what tough kids do, right? They go to rodeos. They're like, bro.
And our main character's
ride all
is,
the horses.
Is in fact Ponyboy.
Yes. And his brother's real life name is also Soda Pop.
Yeah. Well, this is where we start seeing a bit of the breakdown of the family structure, where Ponyboy starts talking not necessarily out of turn, but lamenting his older brother and how.
Yeah, because she asks him, because he never talks about dairy. He only talks about soda.
Yeah.
And so basically, somewhere in here, he starts talking about like, Derry doesn't care about me. He doesn't love me. He doesn't even want me around. And 2-Bit basically turns around and smacks the heck out of him.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, you don't know a thing you're talking about. Why you don't talk bad about your brother like that? He just like whacks him right in the face, like right in front of everybody. They're just like in the car talking. And he says that. And 2-Bit like turns around and just belts him.
Yeah. Which to me, looking at that going like, there's a lot in that where 2-Bit knows a lot more to the story than Ponyboy.
Yeah, because 2-Bit's closer to Derry, right? They go way back, so
they go way back.
He knows all this stuff.
Yeah, that we don't know, obviously, but we don't know it because Ponyboy doesn't know it, and we're seeing the world through Ponyboy's eyes right now.
Exactly.
So there's a lot that Derry is either doing, sacrificing, or struggling with, or whatever that he doesn't let,
or has sacrificed in the past.
Exactly.
You know,
but he doesn't.
Because we do have a very limited perspective. We do have only Ponyboy's point of view in this whole book.
Mm-hmm.
So we do. There's a lot of you do get these elements of like there is more going on that we're not aware of yet. And like you said, 2-Bit knows what's up. That's why he smacks him in the head, right? He also mouths off to Johnny, which makes 2-Bit angry as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because he's like, why? What be nice to Johnny? What are you doing? You know?
Yeah. About Johnny's family or wanting him.
Yeah, about, he's like, he goes, shut up, Johnny, your family don't want you around either. And Johnny's like, well, yeah, but you didn't have to say it like that.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, not like this.
I mean, I know, but geez.
And about this time, a Mustang, a blue Mustang, comes around.
Drives by.
Dun, dun, dun. And you can really see that they're the boyfriends, aforementioned boyfriends, looking for, I don't know if they were looking for them, but they found Cherry and Marcia.
Yeah, they saw them in the car with them or whatever. Or walking. Or I can't remember.
And there's kind of a little bit of push and pull here. And one big outburst that I noted is kind of the tensions are rising, and Cherry bursts out and she says, "No, stop it! We'll ride home with you. Just a minute. I hate." She talks about. I can't stand fights. I can't stand them.
Oh yeah, because they roll up on 2-Bit. They're walking at this point, and they roll up on 2-Bit, and they're like, "There's 4 more of us in the car," and 2-Bit just casually goes, "That's fine." And he breaks a bottle that he picks up off the ground, and he throws. Yeah. He throws Pony a knife, and Johnny whips out his switchblade, and he's like, "Come on, man, let's go." Dude. And then the girls are like, "No, we don't like fighting. I told you we don't like fighting." And that's when they stop. But then they have that moment of, Pony's like, "I wouldn't have done that," and she's like, "I know, but I didn't want to make you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which makes me think
they have that kind of. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was. You fine. Go.
No, you. Because I was going to move on to the next thing.
Okay, it makes me think about, again, we're talking about like what are people's different backgrounds? What do we not know about other people's and their perspectives? Because we're Ponyboy learning about this. Are we going to learn about Cherry's background and why she doesn't like fights? Is she exposed to something?
Why she's so
something like, because that was a pretty visceral reaction that we haven't seen her act out so far, because she's pretty much put it pretty cool and calm and tough this whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
And then when this gets to this point, she can't. She shuddered. Cherry shuddered. I can't stand fights. I can't stand them. Dot. And you're like, okay, there's a lot here that I wonder if we're going to learn more about a home life or past experiences that that, because all this is about understanding why people are the way they are, and that at the end of the day we're not all that different because we've all experienced things and we're dealing with those experiences. And so that was just a little tidbit that I really highlighted really quick, because I was like, this will be interesting to see if this, where this goes.
Yeah. And then like there's this really awkward like goodbye between Cherry and Pony where they're all like, she's like, "Hey, if I don't like talk to you," because he recognizes she's a cheerleader at the school he goes to, right? And she's all like, "Yeah, when I don't talk to you next week, don't take it personal." And he's like, "Yeah, I won't. I know the drill." And they kind of have this thing. It's like, we couldn't let our parents see you with you all, you're nice and everything. And he's like, "Yeah, it's all right. It's cool." And then she just says, man, I could fall in love with Dally. I hope I never see him again, or I will." And you're like, "What? That's the last thing you say to Pony? What the?" I get out. That's a really weird, like, jarring sentence. Like, she's all like, "Yeah, man, it's all right. Just don't forget." Oh, and yeah, because he's all like, "Just don't forget, some of us watch sunsets too."
Yeah. And
then she blurts out, "I could fall in love with Dallas Winston. I hope I never see him again, or I will." And you're like, "What? What? What?"
I'm going
Where the heck did that come from?
What happened?
Oh, she's just like blowing it off and playing it cool because she feels the same way. I feel like it's almost like that. Like she's like sort of
off.
blowing that line off. Yeah. Try not to engage with what he said before. But like it's really weird.
Oh no. And that was and then there's the cool down period where they walk home and he and Johnny fall asleep in a lot or on a roof or something.
Yeah, they're just like they go outside, they're smoking, and they like lay down in this abandoned lot down the road.
Yeah.
Which is where all the action happens in this book, apparently, is this abandoned lot, right? We're in abandoned lots everywhere.
Yeah.
There he starts talking about like he's drifting off asleep. This is another Pony Boy character trait where he like drifts off and like daydreams about like weird stuff. He's talking about like moving to the country and Soda having a horse again and blah 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 and all this
so
weird stuff.
The country, plain. He just wanted to be plain ordinary people, and well, no, that's what Johnny said.
And then
Johnny says, he says, "I can't take this much more. I'll kill myself." Then Pony Boy says, "Don't. You can't." And he said, "Well, I won't, but I got to do something. There's got to be some place without greasers or socias, just plain ordinary people."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes into that weird.
Yeah. And that's what he starts talking about. Then he daydreams his mom and dad are still alive. And then like he dreams that Johnny comes and lives with them in the country. And then like Johnny, then like all of a sudden Johnny's like shaking and be like, "Yo, wake up."
Yep. Because he doesn't know what time it is and he's got to be home. And so he runs off and encounters Derry, who is
they're all at home.
Yeah, Derry. And,
because it's apparently like really late.
And Derry is not happy and really, really lays into to Pony Boy about being late. And
it's 2:00 in the morning. That's what time it is. So he's like super mad.
Yeah, he's really laying into him about, you never think. That's dumb. Like you never think, do you? That's you're always up there, never paying attention and all this stuff. And Pony doesn't take it very well, does he?
No.
Well, that's also because Derry
slaps him.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that part where he slapped him.
Yeah, because Pony, excuse me, all these names are running together in my brain. He's like screaming at him, He's screaming at him, it's like blah blah blah, and then Derry yells at Soda, because Soda's like, "Bro, just calm down." And
Pony Boy comes to his defense and says, "Don't you yell at him." And Derry turns around and slaps him in the face, and it knocked him against the door. It was so hard.
Yeah. And so he runs out.
Yeah.
Basically, he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
As you do. And he finds Johnny, who was still on the curb. And they start talking to him, and Johnny still talk. And
well,
they're like, "We're leaving,
running,
Johnny."
He's running, and he just yells, "Johnny, we're running away!" And Johnny just picks up and joins and runs with him.
Yeah, Johnny's like, "All right, cool, let's go."
And they run, and then they get tired, and then they sit and smoke and talk.
And they're like, "All right, so maybe running away is not the best plan, but
no, yeah." And then
they decide they're going to go back, but first they're going to just walk down to the park before they go back home.
Oh no!
And then this chapter ends with the beautiful cliffhanger, the classic. Things got to get better. I figured they couldn't get any worse. I was wrong. So now we know bad stuff's going down in the park.
Putting together these pieces because we've got Johnny, we've got Pony Boy. We know Johnny. We know the Blue Mustang is out there. We know that he's spooked by them. We know who those are. The same group of people who beat him up. We've already been a little bit foreshadowed here, saying that he won't, over his dead body will he get jumped again.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, okay, well. This will be a fun chapter. And I didn't it took me a lot to not keep reading here. So I'm very excited to talk about this because I didn't read chapter 4. So
there you go. So we did get a lot more character development. There's still a lot of like weird things that are like they don't make sense, and I don't know if they don't make sense because they just don't make sense, or because we, like you said, we only have Johnny's perspective so far.
Pony Boy.
So like, I mean Pony Boy. Yeah, you see, I'm getting all mixed up.
I really
yeah,
think
we only have
is,
ponies.
I really think that is one. I think there's some cultural stuff here that's doesn't make sense. Like when Cherry was talking about the stuff that she does, I was like, I don't know any of the things that you're saying right now or why this is
true.
Like none of this makes any sense. But I do really think that the worldview here just is, I don't know if it's intentionally kept small or just, again, the writer of this was in, what do we say, high school, or she wrote it in middle school. Like it's just small. The world is extremely.
No, I think partly of it is intentional because it is kind of. I think this is going to be stitched together in just like this one. I don't think this book takes place over just like a huge amount of time.
No.
I feel like that's not. I feel like it's a real short. Like, I mean, so far we've had like 2 days, right? That's what it feels like. So it hasn't really been a long time. It's going to be a pretty condensed timeline, I feel like. So I think part of the reason it's kept small is just to narratively to tell this one story. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
and I think that's intentional to keep the focus the very tight focus on what's happening
on Pony. Yeah, and I think being told through Pony's eyes, I don't think we're going to get many scenes where Pony's not present. He's going to be learning.
I think you can't.
That's why. This is stories like this tend to be very engaging because you are actively learning. It's not like, oh, well, wait till that main character finds out about this because I read, chapter 3 and that was from this other perspective. Like we're learning in real time, and we're going to come a lot of. I feel like motivations are going to come to light here from people in Pony's circle that are going to, that's part of this coming of age is realizing people have their own motivations. And trying to understand those.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because we do only know ponies. And so you get hints at other people's, like we saw some of Dally's, right? We learned a little more about 2-Bit. We know Johnny pretty well. Dally and Soda still kind of mysterious, right? We can assume that they're both like, they are the older brothers. So there's levels of things happening there that we probably are not privy to because Pony isn't. He's at school. Soda's dropped out and he's working at a gas station, and Dally is doing roofing or something, construction, right?
Construction, yeah.
So like, we don't know what they're doing. We don't know their tribulations because Pony doesn't know them.
No, no, he has no idea. He has no idea. And yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes for this. So I did like chapters 2 and 3 a lot more. I feel like it's going to pick up pace even more from here.
Yeah, I think so. Because it did start rolling pretty good through those 2. So, which again, I think was just a knock on chapter 1, because chapter 1 had to introduce everything. So, it feels. It just out of chapters 1, 2, and 3, 1 feels like wildly out of place, and then like 2 and 3 go like really well together. So it's like what? What was that? I don't know. Yeah. There you go, Aaron. You're all caught up. No problem.
Anytime. So, yeah. Next time we'll read chapters 4 and 5. And
all right.
Keep jumping through this. How many chapters did we say this thing has?
I think there's only 12.
12. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's right. It's pretty short.
It's short, yeah. And each chapter is pretty short too. Cool. Well.
Yeah.
Well. Good. I'm looking forward to the rest of that.
Mm-hmm. There actually might only be. Oh no. 11. Yeah. 12. All right, yeah, 12 chapters. Confirmed.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, we'll, okay, perfect. Well, we will do chapters 4 and 5 for next week. And
All right.
And we'll go from there. So
All right.
that's all I got.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Okay. Well,
I like it.
love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Everything.
Bye.